and where I think it's working, it should be behind. If you've noticed that Doe Eyes is running a video right now, it's because I am in the Holy Fucking Science podcast studio with Jessi from Hi guys. And Callie from Cinema Studios, who does sound engineering. And we all consented to recording a live stream version of today's podcast recording, which won't come out until like August. Okay. But whatever. Preview for you, because I appreciate all of y'all. All y'all. Okay, so I turned off the YouTube one so that we don't hear ourselves. And I'm going to go back to the... This is always so difficult for me. Back to the Hangout version so that we can see ourselves.
You're doing a great job, I think.
Okay. And maybe this box. Ta-da. A little better?
Oh, nice. There you go.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you actually push it in just a little bit further?
Yeah, it doesn't want to stay.
Yeah. Is that better?
No, it's like, I want to be here.
It'll be fine.
It's terrible.
What if I turn the whole thing? Is that close?
I'm afraid of moving.
Yeah? Is that better?
Yeah.
I just moved the sandbag. I think someone bigger than me sat here before.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't know who uses the studio anymore because
if it was Reed, it would definitely. He's bigger than me.
Okay. All right. Now the computer is so far away. Stay there. Because I need to remind myself which episode this is, because I have been encouraged to number the episodes so that people know where we're at. This is episode 58. Cool. Let's do it. Wrong button.
You've done 57 podcasts already.
Oh my gosh.
You're so experienced.
Oh my gosh. And every single time I go to do it, it feels like when I was in high school on the diving team. Okay, I got to do my approach to the end of the board and just trust that I'm going to hit it correctly. So I'm so nervous every single time. Is that better? No?
Let's see if it goes.
Do you need it turned more?
No. How's that? That sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay.
See,
good.
there's so much
Good.
of a process.
So it is.
Pre-game
There's
stuff
so
for
many
that.
different things. So you were on the dive team then?
Yeah.
Oh. Sounds like you were scared every time you dove, though.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because the diving happens during swim meets. And so all the swimmers are there. All the swimmers' families are there.
Yeah.
You have these huge audiences. And then
Yeah.
when it's the diving portion of a swim meet, you are one person in a silent, enormous pool auditorium. Everybody's watching, and you have to do these perfect steps to the edge of the board so that your weight pushes down on the edge.
Yeah.
You don't fall off. Your toes are in the right spot so that it then brings you up.
That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. You have to take a deep breath after that, just talking about it.
Yeah.
I've done a track meet before, and I guess the most stressful part was the relay races, because, you know, it's a team effort, but you're still running your own part and everyone is depending on you. It's a lot of pressure, but I've never, yeah.
And looking back, I don't know if I shaved my pubes.
Is anyone peeking out?
Well, because that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's very possible that I would get dressed and like have everyththing in or not. It didn't even occur to me. And then there I am.
Don't look now.
Standing on the board.
Don't draw attention to it.
Bush coming out, which is fine, whatever. But it was not fine in 1999. Oh my goodness. Sexplanations podcast, episode 58. Let's talk, Jessi.
Let's talk. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about anal prep. Because 4 years ago on the Sexplanations YouTube channel, I did an anal prep video to get ready for an anal sex video.
Yes.
And because on the podcast, we like to revisit old episodes and go through those subjects more thoroughly. I thought, who is going to talk to me about anal prep? And yeah,
why did you ask me? I feel like I was asked because you didn't think anyone else would say yes.
That's not true.
Oh,
but I did ask someone else, and they said that it would be difficult for them to have such a public persona and be talking about anal prep. Like it would pose a vocational conflict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is a little weird that I'm talking about on a public forum, kind of. Is this a forum? I don't know. Public.
Yeah.
Platform. There we go. But at the same time, I don't think it is. It's biology, and you have to prep the rectum for many different reasons.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know, I am talking to Jessi from Animal Wonders and SciShow Kids. Animal Wonders, the YouTube channel, but also the facility that is in Montana providing care for over 80 different animals. And I suspect this is like my ridiculously limited veterinary knowledge that you have to prep some anuses.
I do.
So you definitely know
sometimes
more about it.
It's not a daily project, procedure. But I do have to do it every once in a while.
Yeah. And lots of different anuses.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think you're the perfect person to talk to about it.
Oh, good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. My challenge though this morning, I was trying to come up with a multiple choice question to ask you about it. And every time I would go to write something, I thought, oh my gosh, this is sexualizing animals, like prepping their anuses for some sex act that we're going to do to them. And I had to go over in my head over and over and over. How can we not shame people who do have sex with animals, not say that we are condoning that, make sure that we are talking about the anatomical features of anuses and, using other species as knowledge for that, being respectful. How do we be respectful of the Sex Education podcast?
Respectful to buttholes.
Yeah. Okay, so can you can you give me some tips?
Some tips
on anal prep.
Well, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is to be gentle. I mean, the tissues around the rectum are not designed to have things going in. Mm-hmm. They are biologically, their function is to have things come out. And so you have to be very gentle around the area. They can become accustomed or get desensitized or used to things going into them, but it takes time, and you still do need to be gentle. So be gentle is the first thing. Always just be gentle.
I'm so happy right
now. And consent for animals is different in each species, and I would say humans have a different level of consent than animals do. And so with animals, you need to make sure that they're as comfortable as possible. If you do need to go into their rectum for some reason, keeping them as still as possible, again, to help make sure that the process is gentle. So preparing the position, I think, is really important. So let's say, for example, dogs, you have to go into their anus to express their anal glands. Do you know what anal glands are?
I mean, I know that anal glands are glands in the anus.
Yes.
That dogs they fill, and so then the dogs will wipe their assholes on the floor
to try because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. They're supposed to clear when the dog poops. But if they don't, then they start to fill, and then they can become uncomfortable and itchy and put pressure. And they can then, rupture or just get real not fun, infected. And so to prevent any of that, you need to express their anal glands. And you can do that from the outside by basically like squeezing on the side of the butthole, and like squeezing little drops of it out, or
So you don't
inserting a finger
Oh, you do.
inside, and then squeezing. It's like a grape inside there, and squeezing them to make them come out. Yeah, it looks like pus and poo coming out of there.
You're making me
It's
love
gross.
my job.
You're the only one that would ever react that way to talking about anal gland expression.
Well, no, I'm saying like I'm so thankful that I have my job and not Jessi's
Okay.
job.
Okay. To be fair, I have never expressed an anal gland before.
Oh, okay.
I know how it's done. I've seen it done. I've been present when it's done. But a lot of times it's either groomers, dog groomers, or the veterinarian or the vet tech that does it. But you can do it at home. None of my dogs have had that problem, though. So I have not had to do that.
Okay, so when you say gentle, I
Mhm.
assume that just means soft touch, gloves,
Go slow.
slow.
Yes.
And when you say position,
Yes.
the dog lying down.
Standing up with the tail held up. And the dog can lay down as well. They have to be comfortable laying down, though. So a comfortable position for the animal. So if they aren't comfortable on their back, then don't put them on their back. If they're, don't have them standing up. So whatever's comfortable for the species of animal and the individual. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Gentle position. And then I would say you have to make sure it's not a sterile situation down there.
Mhm.
But you do have to make sure you're not introducing something that will then cause bacteria to grow. So, using a glove is what you would do for an animal, especially if your finger's going to go up into their bum and then, push on the anal gland. So being cautious of what you're introducing into the anus. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally have it in my mind that the reason why I'm asking you to talk about anal prep is because you've had to do lots of penetrating of different anuses.
Would you like me to talk about one that I have personal experience with?
Sure, but I'm thinking, isn't there one where maybe it's a dog's doing something and the solution is that you stick your finger in its ass?
So if two dogs are fighting,
Oh yeah,
and you can't, and it's too dangerous to reach your hand in between the two or a foot or anything like that, and they're just going at each other. Sometimes, like a dog, like a pit bull or something like that, will have a lock on, biting really hard and not releasing their jaw onto the other one, and you kind of want to surprise them, and get them completely to disengage with what's in front of them. And so one of the tactics is to grab their tail and stick your finger in their butt, and they'll be like, "Whoa!"
I really want you to do an Animal Wonders about this. It's fascinating. Not in a sexual way, in a like.
Yeah. Distract. Here's an option. Distract.
Oh my God.
Whenever I think of like the distracting, like what their face would look like if you put it in a cartoon, just like their big eyes, like boing.
Because that's how we feel.
Whoa. Yeah. Surprise attack from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's
those are
one way.
two.
Okay.
But you have all different species.
So another one that I have dealt with is with frogs, and they have a different they have a different situation down there. So they're basically their butt and their poop and their pee come out of the same place. So their sex organs and their butt are in the same kind of place. Well, they have one hole. It's an all functioning hole, all purpose hole, I guess, called the cloaca or vent. And sometimes when they eat something too big for them, or they have poor conditions, or they just have loose muscles back there, their rectum will fall out of their cloaca.
Prolapse.
Yes, prolapsed anus or prolapsed rectum or rectal prolapse. So the prolapsed rectum is what I call it. And so then you'll have these really fragile tissues in this little organ that's sticking out where it should not belong. And you have to be gentle when you touch them, and they have to stay very, very moist. And with that, you would deal with, you want to put them in sugar water, and that's going to help pull that organ kind of back into the cloaca. And then you use a wet or lubricated finger, and then you gently guide it back in. You have to be very, very careful, but you guide it back into the cloaca, the hole, and then keep them in a very sterile environment for a while.
So many questions
Yeah,
now.
tell me. Ask me.
Okay, when you say really moist, you mean the whole frog?
The frog has to stay moist anyway because they are amphibian. Right. Yes.
But we could apply that to like lubrication is helpful.
Yes.
Then you're saying sugar water?
Yes. Yeah. So the sugar water is going to kind of help the organ like recede back without being stringent and hurting. It's a chemical reaction that makes it go in.
Do you think that applies to humans?
So I was Googling this, and my Google search engine is going to be really interesting after this.
Welcome to my world.
So I put in rectal prolapse, and usually it's, like when I'm researching, I put the species of the animal that I'm dealing with. But this time I just said rectal prolapse, and there was humans on there. I'm like, oh, I don't deal with humans on a regular, well, I do, but like not in detail. And I'm like, oh, this happens with humans too. And there also are suggestions to put sugar on it to have it go back in. Yeah. Or at least shrink so that then you can maneuver it back in yourself. Yeah.
Sugar water on the prolapse rectum.
So I didn't research
where
super intense and if it should be sugar water or straight sugar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my
But you should probably also tell your doctor.
We call it trunk butt. I know. I'm just saying. So your frog has trunk butt. Okay, what's my other question about it?
I'm looking at any zookeeper for that to catch on for any zookeeper. Oh, that's great.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. It's an animal reference for an animal problem. So like,
yeah,
I like it.
Tree frogs. It's perfect.
Tree frog. My tree frog has trunk butt.
But they seem so small. How could you fit a finger in there?
Yeah, pinky. I mean, you could also, there's bigger tree frogs too, but like the little ones, you're just basically guiding it back in. So it has to already want to kind of recede and go back in, and then you can push it in. You can also use like a small probe as well, like a metal or a glass probe, and get it to kind of go back in. It's just a little bit harder to work those. Guide this really flexible organ back into a slimy hole. Like
I'm learning so much.
So the finger is just a little bit easier to work with.
Okay. And I don't want to gloss over either that you said talking to your doctor if you have trunk butt is important.
I can't not laugh at that. Yes, it is really important because as within a frog as well, like if it's left untreated, they will dry up. Those tissues will dry up and become necrotic. Basically, they'll die, and then you're in for infection. And with the tree frog, most likely death. But humans, I bet, could. I mean, don't leave it untreated forever. If you've got some dried out tissue coming out of your bum, you should go to the doctor right away.
Okay, I feel like we're learning here on this explanation podcast.
I hope.
Anal prep 2.0.
I was on talking about this for no reason.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so dogs and frogs. What else?
Yeah. Let's see. I've dealt with bum issues with cats. And birds can also, I mean, anything can get a prolapsed rectum. Who else did it happen to? The same, pretty much exactly the same thing that happened to the frog has happened to a lizard that I've worked with as well, so reptiles. And then with cats, mostly I've just dealt with not being able to groom themselves enough, well enough, so that then I had to clean them myself. And with that, I just had to make sure that I wasn't using something too stringent to clean it. So I had to use my finger, and I used some coconut oil, actually, and then I would just rub that in and around and then wipe it clean with a tissue paper afterwards.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's not really like kind of applies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the same thing goes. You wouldn't want to use something super abrasive and dry out the anus.
Exactly.
But you don't use baby wipes?
Baby wipes they're okay, but if you've ever had someone that you've had to clean up after with baby wipes, if you rub too hard with them, they can cause a rash, like abrasions, basically. And so if you've heard of diaper rash, that can be caused by not the urine or the feces, but also like rubbing too hard with a brand of a baby wipe that isn't compatible with their skin. And so you can deal with that by making sure. So one of my children has sensitive skin, and if I use the baby wipe and put olive oil, saturate it in olive oil, and then use it to wipe, that has helped a lot with that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so baby wipes, yes and no. For some people, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other anal knowledge? Why do I feel like that laugh is, Lindsay, I could talk about this for hours.
I don't know. It's just no one's else asked me ever before if I have any more anal knowledge for them. Like, that's the first.
Oh, okay. Then I feel proud.
I think that's most of my experience with anuses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any knowledge of your own body that you've learned from yourself?
I have irritable bowel syndrome.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So I've dealt with, I don't know, some challenges in that department every once in a while. Not something I've never had trunk butt before. Glad.
Yeah.
Sorry to those who have to deal with that. It sounds challenging and not very fun.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I take my number one rule is just be gentle. Gentle.
I mean, it needs to be the number 2 rule.
Yep.
Okay.
Good one.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'm thinking about a lot of the questions that come up for me around it, especially around other species, is like how their fecal matter affects it, and putting medications in there, like what you do and don't, and what animals are having anal sex with each other.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So many questions.
Good questions. That's making me think more. An open-ended question like, anything more? And I'm just like, no. But then you ask me more questions. I'm like, oh, I do have more information. Well, we didn't talk about thermometers. Like, you have to take an animal's temperature, and the most accurate way to get their temperature, you want to get their core temperature, is with a rectal thermometer. And so when it's the right shape, it's a nice little, like, what do you call that?
Probe.
Smooth proby shape. But you should use lube when you put that in there. Or some sort of lubricant. But again, gentle and position.
There aren't lubes that are problematic for some species?
There are. It's gonna get. You'll want a water-based lube if you're going to. See, I would just use water if you're gonna be working with an amphibian.
Mhm.
But pretty much every other animal besides water-based animals, you can use either like a KY jelly or is that too on brand?
No, you're fine.
KY jelly, I don't know.
Sponsor us, KY.
Or like an olive oil or a coconut oil. Those will be safe for almost every species. Of mammal, I should say mammal. I should just say mammal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it worked for reptiles too. So, and what was the other question about animals that are having anal sex?
Yeah.
It does happen sometimes. Lots. It does.
Do any of your animals have anal sex?
Well, when we're talking about cloacas, it's not a true
Yeah,
anus.
true.
And nothing is penetrating. So there's exchange of fluids. What's the definition of sex?
I mean, that's totally fair. I'm asking you about asshole preps, so you can turn it on me.
To answer your question fully, I need to know your definition of sex.
Of anal, like what I would say is anal sex. Some sort of play with an anus.
Okay, so not cloaca?
I'm going to take cloaca off the table just to make it less confusing. But if it was oral anal or penile anal or
object.
Yeah, something object anal.
Okay, so mammals.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but don't some mammals have? Doesn't your beaver have a cloaca?
So anything with an anus and genitals. Is an anus considered genitals? A separation of the two. Okay, so a separation of the anus. Yeah, because beavers have cloacas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is so bizarre to me because
it's so cool. It's weird, and I am trying to track down someone that has seen beaver sex in real life, because all the experts, even those that have kept beavers or studied beavers, they cannot tell me how it works exactly.
Oh, because I asked you about it on a SciShow talk show, didn't I?
Or
off camera.
Yeah.
You were talking to Stevie Bobby, who
was trying to understand, how it worked. And so I thought I knew, and then I didn't know, and then I thought I knew, and then I didn't know. And I'm now firmly in that I don't know how this works.
Because they're tails.
Well, their tails isn't the problem. They can just turn it to the side. Tail's fine. I mean, dogs have sex with tails too. So like, tail is so they turn the tail to the side, and then they can hump to the side like this.
But you think it's doggy style?
Yes.
You don't think that it's face to face?
No, I don't think it's like this.
Really?
Yeah.
I want it to be face to face, because then we can stop calling it missionary and we could call it beaver.
Oh. But that would be laying down. Like one would have to go on their back.
Yeah, while they're swimming, hopefully. This is what I want to be happening. Beaver sex is now face to face.
It cannot happen in the water because unless there's penetration. Because like I don't know, is there penetration? And if there is penetration, then do they have a baculum? I don't think they have a baculum, which is a penis bone.
Right, but can't you dissect them and find it?
Well, Emily Grassley did. Yeah, so I don't think there is a penis bone. So
because
I'm pretty sure there is no baculum. Okay, so then is it just a fleshy thing that comes out? Does it actually go in, or are they like smushing?
Suction. This is how beaver sex works. The two cloaca come and they suction together. And they are watertight, and they're facing each other like eagles. You know how eagles have sex? And they're falling from the sky.
Sure, okay. But then they put the cloacas together.
They put the cloacas together, and the two of them are like moving their tails to swim, and they're face to face, and they're swimming down.
But you want that to happen in water. Man, no, I'm pretty sure they hump like doggy style. And then
why don't we know this?
Right? I want to know. And I can't research it because you can't put in those words and get what you're looking for. It's a challenge, guys.
I think that's the hardest I laughed on the podcast.
how
so much.
beavers actually perform sex. I want to know. Yeah. So, what was the original question?
I have no
Do
idea.
animals have anal sex?
Yes, they definitely
Yes, they do. Yes. And
do. Sheep.
Okay.
I mean, rams have one of the highest rates of male on male do each other in the butt sex.
Is this in a herd setting or is this bachelor cruise?
I don't know.
Okay.
The sheep that I've been hanging out with lately
Mhm.
have to be separated, because if they aren't,
Yeah.
then the dads and the brothers will do the sisters and the moms.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know how.
And
there
are they
herds that
are they wethers or are they intact?
Did you call them wetters?
Wethers.
Wethers.
Yeah, castrated.
Oh, I don't know this lingo so good. W-E-A-T-H?
W-E-T-H.
W-E-T-H.
Wethers. Yeah, are castrated goats and sheep.
They have their balls.
No.
They do have their balls, I'm saying. These sheep.
These ones do. These ones do.
Have their balls.
Okay. Yeah, so then their sex drive is going to be very high.
Yeah. And they do each other.
Yeah. And does it cause problems?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, the statistics, I'm not counting how many times I see them do each other and say, oh my gosh, this is much higher than, I don't know, what's another species that, bonobos,
Penguins.
which definitely isn't.
Oh,
Penguins.
those are birds.
Yeah, but oh yeah.
Penguins.
Oh, but we say
Penguins,
that they're gay
they rape
because
each other all the
they love each other. Okay. Anyway,
time.
but
Love.
the sheep statistic is coming from actual papers and
that they did that
scientists
males are
have
having
reported,
anal
yeah.
sex with
I
other
just
males.
happen to be hanging out with sheep.
Okay.
And yes, and I heard your comment about love and what are we not anthropomorphizing?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, don't we say penguins are gay? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can say gay if they're have
That they
sexual,
pair.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
pair up. Yeah. And they can become monogamous with the same sex.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you could call that gay if you want to.
I'm going to retract the love statement.
Okay,
They're just
good.
Pairing.
Yeah. They're bonding.
They're
pairing or bonding. Yeah. But no, have you seen the videos of the seals that go and have sex with penguins repeatedly?
I thought that my part of the internet was wild. How did you get to that? Okay.
It's behavior, and it was captured on there. Everyone thinks that these little harbor seals are so cute, and they are. They're super cute. They have the big eyes, and sometimes they have little freckles on them. But they're going out and having definitely non-consensual sex with another species over and over and over again, to the point where some of them die.
How?
This has gone to a dark place, hasn't it?
How?
Into their cloaca.
No, but how does
they pin them down and they hold on to them with their little flippers and they're like, nope. And then they use their weight to overpower them. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not really anal sex because it's a cloaca.
Well, it's rape.
It is. And between
I try to
species.
detach rape from sex.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I mean, the
penguins, they don't get anything from it. The penguins don't get anything from it. And it's painful and it can kill them. Yeah. So that's terrible. That's a terrible thing that happens. How
do we recover?
I'm sorry. Okay, so you were talking about, so the reason that came up was because I was wondering, like, how, when you're watching the sheep, when the two male sheep, one is having anal sex with the other male sheep, like, or anal penetration, like, is the other sheep okay with it? The ram, so they're both rams. So is the receiving ram fine with it? And it's like, all right, this thing happens.
It's so fast. Sheep sex is like, boom.
Okay. And so they just go about their way.
Yeah, I think maybe they just think
so. They're not gentle. They're not making sure they're in the right position.
I
They're all in the same position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that there is a lot of anal sex happening in different species.
Yeah, well, primates. I mean, if you want to bring it to like actual like consensual or enjoyment of sex, you're going to bring it back to primates. So, I mean, I will bring it back to primates. So we can talk about bonobos. So bonobos are closely related to chimps. They're called pygmy chimps sometimes, and they're very closely related to humans. And bonobos, they have sex in all the different ways.
Like
all
handshakes.
Kind of. That's one. Yeah, comforting.
It's
like
the way that we shake someone's hand is the kind of the way.
Sometimes, yeah, that's one way. Like an introductory. Hey, how's it going? Let's have sex now. But it's also ways to appease, and it's ways to smooth tensions over and between others, and it's ways to comfort and pleasure and so they have anal sex all the time too.
I'm confused. How can aren't we anthropomorphizing there?
Ask me which part.
Like when we say things like for comfort and for pleasure and it's consensual.
So you can't say what an animal is thinking, but you can observe their behavior and then try and pair it with what external stimuli is happening and then try and draw conclusions. So it's the same as observing human behavior and trying to determine why a certain thing is happening. You can never understand what another being is thinking ever. So anthropomorphizing is putting human feelings onto animals, projecting human feelings onto animals. So if you think of a dog that wants to appease or dispel tension in a situation, you could see their behavior where they would cower a little bit.
Yeah.
They would look up, big eyes, and they would tuck their tail. And sometimes they would wag it a little bit. So you can observe behavior that way. And I use dogs because humans are around dogs and you can see that behavior. Most humans are familiar with dog behaviors. So when you're studying like another species, like a bonobos, you can determine why they're doing a certain, maybe you can determine that they're doing a behavior. You can't always understand, specifically say why they're doing it, but sometimes you can guess, have a really educated guess as to why. So if two males are fighting, like raucous fight, and then one of them wins and throws something at the other one's like, oh, they do that. They droop. Their whole body droops. And then they kind of go walking, sauntering off into the tree, and they go and sit right next to their mother. Their mother, might have a reciprocating behavior that they do. And then you see them do that behavior. And then the sullen boy perks up after that and has a more active behavior. So you can watch animal behavior and then surmise or guess as to why they're doing that. So the mother might perform, anal sex on him, and then afterwards he's like, "Oh, better. Okay, thanks."
Oh,
I mean, yeah. So that's it's not saying he was sad because he was bullied by the other one. But you can, those would be some anthropomorphic terms. But you can explain away the behaviors that you see. Yeah.
Fascinating. Now I know that we don't want to project onto them what they think, but I want to know what they think. Like, what do you think when I put your anus back in your body? What do you think when my thermometer goes in?
Yeah. Is this terrifying right now? Or are you is the animal like, please help me? Oh, thank you. That feels much better. Or it's like, don't touch me there. You're killing me. I hated that. Okay, you let me go.
Yeah.
Probably the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have a closer relationship with the animal that you are working with, performing any sort of procedure with their anus on. Making sure that they're comfortable is pretty important. If you have a relationship with them, talk to them, maybe give them a full body massage first, give them treats, if you can. I'm thinking dogs.
I'm thinking humans. So awesome.
Give them treats.
Make sure they're
Good job.
comfortable.
Good job. Pet them,
That was so perfect.
And you can even desensitize or train a dog to be more comfortable with an animal. I shouldn't say dog. An animal to be more comfortable with manipulation of their anus.
How?
So, for one example, one of my dogs.
Not that we're encouraging manipulation in any way, but that.
I mean, I would encourage it if it causes severe anxiety for your dog to get his temperature taken.
Yeah, but I'm talking about humans.
I know. So you're coming from it from a place of they want to participate, and I'm coming from a place where they need this procedure done.
Yeah.
And so they can't not have the procedure done or they'll die.
Okay. So
Or
either way.
Yeah. Training them to be desensitized or be okay, accepting of it.
How?
Positive reinforcement. So positive reinforcement training. So every time, pair it with something pleasurable. So if it was a dog, so my dog had went to the doctor or the vet and got her temperature taken, and she was not a fan. Like, nope. And she closed that down, and she's like, this is not okay. And she had to be restrained, and it was horrible. I'm like, well, I've never trained that before, but now I'm going to, because this was a terrible experience for her.
Really?
Yeah.
You trained your dog to be
more accepting of it, to
anally receptive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that sounds so bad though. It sounds not okay.
You're right. Don't take it to where everyone just went, obviously. Take it to the thermometer. We're talking about thermometers.
Reduce the anxiety produced by this procedure, this rectal temperature taking. And so I just paired it with body massages and treats. So, I body massage my chest, same way that I train how to get their nails trimmed or their ears checked. And so just lots of body massage
around,
and then you touch near, and then you go back to body massage, and then you touch near again. And then you get to the point where you would touch their actual anus, and then you'd put a little bit more pressure in there, and you go back. And so it's just this is a fun sensation, and this is included in it.
And now your veterinarian can do a thermometer, no problem?
She can. I wouldn't say no problem, because my dog's already anxious when she goes to the veterinarian.
Oh.
And so, once she's there, she's already everything's tightening up.
Yeah.
Literally. And but if I then go into our training session, so I'll ask her to do a couple things like sit and paw and lay down, and then I'll try and keep her focused, and then I'll start doing the body massage, and then the vet will be back there doing her thing, and she definitely stiffens up and everything, but there's no sort of a panic session that she has afterwards.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that you just made so many people happy.
Good. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope I made them happy.
Because people ask me all the time, how do I get my girlfriend to let me do her in the ass?
Well, if she doesn't want to,
Right. If she doesn't want to, then the conversation is over.
Exactly.
But if it's just she doesn't desire it because it's uncomfortable, and there's a way to positively
make it
reinforce
more
that.
Comfortable for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Little body massage. Little tap tap body massage.
Yeah, pair it with something that does make her comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten your temperature taken with a thermometer in your bum?
No, but I've had lots of things in my ass. Like my very first pelvic exam when I was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
the gynecologist put her finger in my asshole.
Well, that's never happened to me.
That's what I keep being told.
Oh, uh-oh.
Well, not, I mean, I don't take it as an uh-oh.
Okay.
Many years later, I went to a gynecologist again, and they did the same thing. So
Different style?
We're different body.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Maybe people are just like, something's going on with Lindsay's asshole. We
we need to
like,
check this out.
Check this out. Surprise!
Did they ask you first, though? Did they say, this is what I'm going to do?
No.
Oh, well, they should.
They say, we're going to give you a pelvic exam.
Okay. Well, they should have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone that is
Isn't
getting
that
a pelvic
fascinating?
exam should say, can you please explain to me what you're doing before you do it?
Oh, look at yours. Full of great suggestions.
I mean, I'm not a fan of pelvic exams. I have a retroverted uterus and it hurts. So
Yeah. I
But
think mine
I've
is tilted too.
Okay, yeah. But no, I've never had them check out my bumhole.
Well, have them. I don't ask them. I'm not like, hey, while you're down there.
They have never done that to me. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll have to bring a doctor onto the show who can.
Ask why.
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
Maybe I'll contact Erin Carroll of Healthcare Triage and say, Erin, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Why do I keep getting anal exams during my pelvic exams?
2 for 1.
Yes. I'm sure someone could tell us. All right. So do you have a multiple choice question for me?
I tried and it all got like, it wasn't really anal prep. It was more just anal sex. And like, I kept trying to come up with like outlandish things that might happen with anal sex. And I'm like, this is funny. And then I asked Google and it was something that happened. So everything that I thought was like, this is funny. I'm like, oh, that does happen sometimes. So I had a lot of trouble with it. Yeah.
Okay. So Kelly, you can remove that part. And then I'll just say, I want to do Kegels next. But I want to also give a shout out to the people on patreon.com/sexplanations podcast who support this channel, specifically Donna Flint, Paul. There's only 4 names. What is your name, person? Hang on. Hi, people. Close up. What is your name? I say it every week and I look at emails from you all the time. Also, I like all of you. It's not just these 4 people, but see, I was gonna go with Ted, and it's a Ben. Okay, so I want to give a special shout out to Ben, Donna Flint, Paul, and the Millers. They're our bosses. They get to tell me. They get to help me make business decisions because we're like, business partners.
Creating the content together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope that's how they see it. I hope that's how all Patreon supporters feel about it.
Yeah, I hope so too. We have patrons as well, and I hope they feel like they are helping me. Sometimes when I struggle, I'm having struggling times. I'm struggling right now. I let them know, and it's more like, and they're just so supportive.
Isn't that
like,
cool?
It's amazing. Like you guys are helping me make this, continue to do this and make this, and thanks for being forgiving when I make mistakes, and like, so yeah.
I have not been talking to, we call them sexplanauts, as often, and I realized that it's like, I'm in a polyamorous lifestyle. I have my partner who I have sex with and is romantic with me, but then I also have like Patreon is like a partner to me. It's a very intimate relationship of a smaller group of people I tell my strugglings to.
Yeah.
And when I don't talk to them, it's like not, the engagement is gone and that intimacy is obviously missing. And so it's so nice to check in and be more vocal with them because that relationship gives me energy. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kegels.
What about Kegels?
You want to do some? we do a segment on the Sexplanations podcast every week where we do Kegels together as a big old group and we work our pubococcygeus muscles.
Okay.
Are you blushing?
Say it again.
Pubococcygeus. Your PCs.
Does every human have those?
I think so. It's your pelvic flooring. It's what starts and stops urination and defecation and helps with like contact.
So can males also do them?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. And it will improve orgasm.
I'm learning something too today.
Good. Yeah.
Fun.
It is. I think it's good because people talk about how exercise is so important, and we have gyms to work biceps, triceps, legs, etc. And we don't have a public space to cheer for each other doing the exercises for our reproductive organs.
So you were making a space for that.
Yeah.
Good job.
And we're doing
that.
group exercises.
All right. I'll join the group exercise.
Okay.
I don't know how it works. Tell me.
Well, we usually come up with, we've done it in lots of different ways. Sometimes we'll have a sponsor do a plug, and sometimes we'll have these pre-recorded moans, and sometimes we'll do letters or words or numbers. We'll count them.
Okay.
So you can do it. Britt from Nature League sang. Did like vocal exercises for us to match our groin exercises.
Okay. I can't sing.
That's okay.
They tried to make me sing on SciShow Kids one time, and it was a disaster. They're like, you need to change your tone. I'm like, I am singing. This is how I sing.
I won't ask you to sing.
I won't sing.
I sang once on Sexplanations YouTube channel. It was a song about Red Rhapsody, which is, so Red Rhapsody is when you have sex during menstruation.
Okay.
And I did it to the Bohemian Rhapsody song. But that's the only time I'm like, we're done here. I'll do 2 verses for you that I will make up just because I think I'm so funny. But other than that, no more.
Did they like it? Did they think you were so funny?
I hope so. Okay. Well, okay, so here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Callie, who's doing the sound engineering, is it okay if she pulls some sounds from Animal Wonders?
Sure.
Different animals?
Yeah.
Is this going to be weird that we're doing? No, because Kegels aren't necessary.
It's just an exercise. It's just a muscle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, Callie, do you consent to this?
Sure.
Okay. If you didn't hear, Callie said, sure. Is that a sure yes or sure no? This is sure yes. She'll just give us a nice mix of animal sounds.
This is going to be so weird.
Everybody can do their Kegels to that.
Okay.
In the meantime, I will count to 14, and that's what you and I and we are live streaming this on the Doe Eyes YouTube channel, which is my personal channel, and we'll do our 14 and
silently together, or just 2 counting.
Yeah,
and everyone else gets random animal noises.
And then no, it's.
I have some good animal noises. I mean, yeah,
it could be like full on Kemosabe the whole time. And now, every time you go to feed Kemosabe a banana and you hear it,
I'm gonna do Kegels.
You're gonna do a Kegel.
Need to do Kegels.
It's gonna be your cue to action.
I'm gonna be buff.
You are gonna be buff. That's our t-shirt. So often on the Sexplanations podcast, somebody says something that I want to turn into a t-shirt, and that's a really good one. Like, my vagina is buff. It's because of the Sexplanations podcast.
Buff Kegels.
Okay, 14. Here we go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So was yours. I'm like, okay, she's making movement. Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I made it.
You did.
Yeah.
And I like how our animal noises were in there too.
Yeah. I knew I would be a little embarrassed to be on the Sexplanation podcast.
You thought you are you embarrassed?
I was only embarrassed in the last part.
Just now when you giggled?
Totally.
Well then, good. It's awesome. I've done them with what is this 58?
You done them every episode?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know.
That just says that I didn't listen to your podcast.
Oh, nobody does. I mean, not nobody. All of you listening are listening, and I consider you people and value you. But I'm saying, people who come onto the show don't typically listen, and I have talked a lot about how I have a hard time listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
It's not the medium that I take in, but I absolutely understand that is what some people could do. Even people here don't watch the YouTube channel because it's not as easy for them to sit down and give their eyeballs to something, but they can do work and listen. So
different ways of podcasts. Yeah, again, they're really hard for me to.
Me too. So
I watch your videos.
Yeah. Thanks. That's awesome. I watch yours too. You answer my questions about poop.
I know. Everyone's like, is that Lindsay from Sexplanations?
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, she's been around before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent you so many questions. You put that tweet out. I was like, I want Jessi to just do an episode where she answers all of Lindsay Doe's questions.
There was like 5 or 6, and I was like, I'm gonna put some, I had more in there, and I'm like, oh, it can't be a 20-minute video. So I kept the most important one.
The
one
poop
question. That's the most important.
Which species has the stinkiest poop?
And what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. And then you showed a clip of you falling onto the big pile. Yeah, go watch Jessi at Animal Wonders Montana on YouTube and SciShow Kids. And if you use Amazon Smile at all, which is a version of Amazon that lets you have a portion of your purchases go to a nonprofit, Jessi's Animal Wonders is on there. That's where all my Smile purchases go.
Thank you so
have
much.
Been spending like crazy. I'm like, oh, it's a good thing. It helps Jessi.
No worries. I know. It's like helps me too. I'm like, this is gonna go.
It's
charity.
It's so good. It's so good.
And it's amazing. Like it does help a lot. Like we get just these random disbursement checks of those.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being on the show. Before you go, we get to give them a Sextra credit assignment each week that they do in between podcasts, something that they get to work on. We all get to work on.
Okay.
Do you have a suggestion?
Oh. That's a big ask. What can I do? Well, how about we stick with a theme?
Oh, yeah.
I would say, be gentle with others.
With others, ... anal preps.
All inclusive. Be gentle with others.
Okay. I like it. Is there an actionable, like a measurable objective so that they know that they're being gentle?
Often when you engage someone in a certain way and they receive that, usually they will come back in a very similar fashion. So, for example, if you rush in and you're very antagonistic, they're going to be defensive and then probably antagonistic back, or else they'll get to that energy level. So if you go towards someone gently, they often will come back to you gently.
Okay. Hackles down.
Yeah.
Tail up.
Depending on the animal.
That's our other t-shirt. Oh, goodness.
Hackles down, tail up.
Yep. Yeah. Anal prep on the Sexplanations podcast. Cool. Well, thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for just being out in the world in general.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You as well.
Thanks.
Making the world a better place.
Yeah. We're tag teaming. It's good. Thank you also to Callie from Cinema Studios, to Complexly for production, and Count Boogie for the jingles, and Cora and Parl, I'm still learning. And hi, everybody on the live stream. Let we're going to say goodbye to you now.
Bye, guys.
Oh, look at all of your comments.
Oh.
Very cool. We'll have to read those when we're done, but we're going to say goodbye for now if I can figure out how to turn this off. Okay. Bye.